Thank you so much, everyone that clicked on the last video that I made. It was interesting because when you are making videos and people are responding positively to the video, which is they are clicking on it and they are watching it, it has a very beautiful way of encouraging you to want to keep making video. Of course, I do not care about the views. Look, I since dissociated myself from the YouTube views because I realized that if you want to focus on the YouTube views for one reason or the other, if you do not get views, you're going to be dissatisfied, you're going to be demotivated, and before you know it, you are not going to repeat the input that matters. You're not going to reiterate on you making videos, because you can only get better with making videos if you make videos. But if you focus on the views for one funny reason, you're going to be you're going to lose interest because you feel like people are not watching the videos you are making, and before you know it, you're not going to put the inputs that you have to put. See, I'm going to keep making these videos because I have realized that this is the only way I can develop my communication skills. I can learn to put my thoughts in place. I can learn, everything that I need, the storytelling, the explanations, trying to make complex things easy. This is the only way I can get that dialed in if I continue to make videos. So people watching or not, I will continue to make this video. But in any case, I want to encourage you to go ahead and smash the like button if you find value in this video. Subscribe to the channel, consider sharing the video if you can. That being said, that last video, like I said, I was talking about the fact that you should stay away from a job that wants you to resume at 9 o'clock. To put things in the right perspective, that's not referring to you if you have absolutely nothing to do with your time. If you are somebody that says, look, I am fine with just working a job, this is not for you. I understand that there's going to be people like that. There's going to be people that says, I want to just have a job. I do not have time for these complications. I don't want to complicate things. I want to have a job. I want to have a salary, and I want to go and sleep. Yes, this is a good model to live life. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But like I said, there's going to be somebody somewhere that says, look, I feel like I have a reason why I have been created. There's something that the universe wants me to achieve. There is a skill set that I need to learn, and that skill set, I need to use it to serve humanity. I was referring to people like that. And for somebody like that, if you are set out to want to achieve something, let's say business, you want to learn a skill, you want to do something worthwhile, like you want to serve people at a very, very large scale, you want to be even better at communication, you have absolutely no business doing a full-time job that starts at 9 o'clock. Because the problem is, when you work a full-time job that starts at 9 o'clock, especially when you are working at a distance, say 20 kilometers from your house address, that will mean that you have to start, like 2 hours before 9 o'clock, to go to that job. And that will also mean that when you close from, your 8-hour shift, you also have to come back home another 2 hours. You're going to be losing about 3 hours or 4 hours if you are not careful, depending on where you live, on commute. And that is a major loss, because if you are not disciplined, when you come back home, you're going to be spent. You're going to be so used that you will not be able to do anything. And the thing you are trying to achieve, that business you are trying to build, that service you are trying to be good at, takes time to build. And these are the time that just gets wasted on commute to work. And if you are not careful, if you come back from work, you are going to sleep. Because do not forget, when you come back from work, if you are trying to achieve something, it doesn't necessarily make you immune to every of the life processes. Your child is still going to come to you and ask you for help with his homework. Your wife is still going to quarrel with you sometimes. Yes, things are still going to be broken in the house that will need your attention. And the thing is, there's always going to be something that needs to be done. And if you are not careful, you're just going to come back home, cook, go make shopping, and that's how the story goes. And you will be in this rat race year in, year out. But if you have a job that says, you can actually start working from, say, 5 o'clock, which is kind of very, very good. But let's say 6 o'clock, you can still come home at, say, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock at the latest, and still have a lot of daytime left for you to be able to do what you have to do. Because what you are trying to achieve, once again, is going to take an untold amount of time. If you want to be a reseller, it takes time to be good. If you want to be a software developer, it takes time to be good. If you want to be, name it, if you want to be good at communication, it takes time to be good. It takes time to, to iterate. It takes time to do the work over and over and again. And the earlier you can start, doing the work, the better it is going to be for you. Of course, there are people that will say, I'm able to wake up in the morning, let's say 3 o'clock, and work very hard. And at about 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, I can start going to my work. If you have that kind of discipline, of course, it's a strategy that you can also deploy. But from my experience, talking to people, a lot of people do not want to wake up in the morning because sometimes it takes an extra amount of discipline to actually wake up in the morning and start to work. I personally am able to do that because I realize that I'm much more better, starting my day very early in the morning, say 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. I can actually get up from bed and begin to do the work. But for you that do not have that, quality of being able to wake up in the morning, if you are somebody that is very comfortable, sleeping till there about 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock, it might be difficult for you if you have a job that entails you starting at 9 o'clock. Because if you're not careful, you're going to be trapped. You're not going to have time left to do what you have to do. Of course, like I said, if I see that the reaction in the last video I made is really a lot, which is people are asking questions, you want to know in what more ways you can actually hack your life to ensure that you have time to be able to do the things that you have to do. Of course, I'll be ready to make a part 2 of that video, breaking things down according to my own experience, because the truth is, your personal experience might be different from mine. But I'm going to give you a template of my own life. A man married with kids, had a full-time job, but still built something on the side. The challenges I passed through, how I was able to navigate every step, every landmine that was in the way, and how I was able to get the business, a reselling business off the ground, and even build a content machine the way I'm building it now, and even show you the behind the scene of what I am doing to be better at communication. When I started making videos a long time ago, I would script my videos. You see, I wouldn't be able to sit down like this very freely and just talk to the camera. I'll be so conscious. What's my positioning on the frame? Is the lighting good enough? Am I positioned myself enough? Is my clothes rumpled? But right now, I do not care. And it set me free from worrying about if the good video is good enough, how is the presentation. I just kept talking to the camera. And because of that, every day, because I'm getting 1% better, I see a very major difference in my presentation when I started making videos a few years ago and where I am now. Of course, this video is meant to encourage you, not give up, to tell you that it is actually possible for you to achieve whatever you want to achieve if you decide to put in the work. Of course, I also can relate to the fact that it might not be so convenient for you to actually choose the kind of job that you want to have, because at the end of the day, you have to pay your bills. And if the only thing that you have left is a job that whenever you start at 9 o'clock, you will not say, no, I won't take it and be in hunger. The last thing you want to do is to allow your family to suffer or your wife to nag at you because you are not able to provide or, perform your responsibility to your family. That's the last thing you want to happen. If that is the only option you have, you want to take it and you want to, be patient with the phase of life that you are in, because truth be said, long time ago, I also had to do those shitty jobs. I had to do it because it was necessary for the stage of life that I was in. I hope this video helps you, brings perspective to the last video. Like I said, please go ahead and click on the like button. Ensure you are subscribed to the channel. Until I see you again in the next video, peace out.